Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. Coming up, we connect with expert information on lung ailments. First tonight, it is Spotlight Education Week here at MPT, and we are pleased to have one of the nation's best-known educators, Dr. Freeman Hrabowski, president of UMBC, who joins us now from the UMBC campus. Sir, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm delighted to be talking with you.
Freeman, I'm told we are literally in the president's office at UMBC, and frankly, it's a little like being called into the principal's office.
I hope that when students come here, they know how much we care about them here at the institution. High standards for rigor of work, but high standards for nurturing and supporting young people.
We have a lot to talk about when it comes to education and higher education, but for UMBC, this is a big year. This is the 50th anniversary. How did the school get to this point?
It's amazing. The first students came in this month in 1966. We've now graduated about 70,000 people. And most important, our alumni are doing really well. Wherever I go in the country, throughout the Baltimore, Washington corridor, but up in New York, wherever, I can find UMBC graduates. And that's happened because we've had great faculty and staff here for years. It's a great story.
Part of this Education Week on MPT is our annual special on how people can pay for education. I know it's an important topic for you. Folks can tune in for that Thursday evening starting at 8 p.m. But when you think about higher education, the cost of it, the starting point is really what a good value in-state tuition can be.
Yeah, I mean, people marvel at the quality of education here. We are listed in the top 5 institutions in undergrad education, quality of teaching. We're one of the top institutions in innovation. We have redesigned courses. We give students chances to work in labs, but also in companies, in school systems, and people get great jobs. That's what people want to know. Will my son or daughter be well educated? And we talk about in the arts, in the humanities, social sciences, and in STEM areas. The fact is that students are well prepared. They go out, get great jobs, can raise their families, and that has been the story of UMBC.
A lot of people certainly borrow money to get through college. What is your perspective on when it makes sense to borrow, what the limits on that are in terms of both undergraduate and graduate degrees?
Right. Many of our students who go to grad school are getting fellowships, and we are putting more and more money into financial aid to support families of all types, and that means middle-class people, low-income people, but working people who are needing support. So we give financial aid, and we find great jobs for them, both on campus and in this corridor. We're working very closely with the defense industry, with people in the schools, with people in community organizations, for nonprofit artistic places. Internships make a big difference in terms of students getting jobs, but they can also pay in a way that can help with that education.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question for Dr. Hrabowski on higher education, give us a call. The number's up on the screen. You can also tweet your questions. Our Twitter account is @MPT News. But Dr. Hrabowski, when it comes to borrowing, are there limits? I mean, is there an amount that you would see somebody taking on that would be excessive relative to their expected earning power?
Sure. I mean, it's very important to talk to the financial aid office about the resources of the family, what it will cost, what scholarships are available, what other financial aid is available, what kinds of jobs they may get on campus, jobs in the community. We've got over 100 companies on campus that also hire people. And so you need to look at the whole package. As a family is thinking about an institution, look at what it would cost. Many of our students live on campus, by the way. In fact, the majority of freshmen now live on campus, and half of undergrad. So it's a very residential, so it's tuition and fees and room and board. But we work to give students as much support as possible.
How many of your students start at community colleges? You know, the Wall Street Journal had a piece today on the financial advantages potentially for somebody of starting at a 2-year program, but the potential pitfalls if they don't take the right courses in terms of being able to transfer that and get through the whole thing in 4 years.
Right. Well, Maryland is more fortunate than most in that we have a system that has worked to connect with the community colleges, and we have a great community college system. Most Americans of a certain age wouldn't know that almost half of all Americans begin their education at community colleges, and our system of those institutions in Maryland is an excellent one. And those students come and they do quite well. We had a major Gates grant to work with the community colleges in some of the disciplines to get to know faculty across the campuses, to build the trust, and to put the emphasis on the success of students. So our students who come from community colleges, and it's probably about 40% of new students will come from those institutions, and they are well prepared.
Big issue in all political campaigns, especially the presidential race. It seems to be driving a lot of voters is the economy and the future of employment and jobs that are either being automated or going overseas. And a big part of that for someone's job security and future earnings power is their level of education, whether it's career-focused, a trade even, or higher education. Give me your thoughts on that and the sort of disconnect that many Americans are feeling, even though the economy has been broadly speaking getting stronger.
You know, the good news is that when you look at the campuses in our state, from UMBC to others, thousands and thousands of families are wanting to be on our campus because they've already, in many cases, had children or themselves. They've gone through it themselves, but they have gotten a good education and gotten a good job. And so large numbers of our students are sons and daughters or relatives of people who've already graduated. What American families see as they come to college is that people who complete those experiences are able to get better jobs and are able to take care of their families. And so what I would say is that we want to support families in understanding what it takes to pay for the education and to give some good advice to students. We tell our freshmen, you want to go to the Career Center and to the Career Fair in the first semester of your freshman year. The worst thing somebody can do is not think about opportunities for jobs and for grad school until they're juniors and seniors. We really encourage interviewing with people beginning in the freshman year in order to get a great summer job or to work in a lab or to work on an arts production. There are wonderful experiences and opportunities throughout the Baltimore-Washington corridor. We just have to expose the students to them, and they will do well. I mean, the challenge is to make sure they take advantage of the opportunities.
The two big buzzwords on many college campuses around the country as this school year begins are safe spaces and trigger warnings. Have either of those or the broader concept been an issue at UMBC?
You know, one of the best things about our campus is that, unlike anyone else in Maryland, because of when we were founded, students of all races could come here. And so we have students from over 100 countries. And in my beginning speech in the convocation, I am talking about people getting beyond their comfort zones, learning how to work with people different from themselves, because we need an America that understands the challenges of different groups, but also people who can serve as a bridge in explaining the problems, because we have our problems, but we are a great country. I mean, I'll tell you what's really exciting to me. We just started Navy ROTC. We're the first campus in the state of Maryland to have Navy ROTC. We've been fortunate to have the Naval Academy for a long time, but most of the people there are not from Maryland families. Now we've got our program. College Park will have a program. And so we have about 2,000 students in the Navy right now. Many of our students here are the sons and daughters of people who work at the National Security Agency or Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin. And so what am I saying? Whether students are in the arts or humanities or in STEM areas, we are teaching them to work with other people and to express concerns. We are not a perfect place. No place is. There can be challenges when thinking about differences among people, but we are working to explain and discuss those very sticky issues. What we need in America is the opportunity to talk with people different from ourselves, to remember to listen, to open open our ears and our minds and our hearts and to solve the problems. We've got problems, but we've got the brain power to solve the problems.
It's a really interesting point that there's no history of segregation at UMBC because the campus is too young. I'm thinking about the issue that I think is still hanging out there with the lawsuit that involves the state's historically black colleges and their futures. What's the latest on that and your perspective on it?
It's a legal matter, but I will say my colleagues and I support all the institutions in the state. We've got some fine institutions of all types here, and we want our students to have options and our families to have options in terms of which institution they want to attend and what the areas will be that they can use. For example, we are strong believers that all of us should be working with the companies and with national agencies, with schools, to focus on the challenges that we have for the workforce, to produce more people in all these disciplines, not only in the technology areas, but people in the humanities and the arts. You can get great jobs. Many of my students will combine a few courses in technology with programs in the humanities, digital humanities, and so you can connect disciplines that can make you more marketable as a student coming out of UMBC.
50th anniversary doesn't pass without a big party, a big celebration. What do you have planned?
Well, you know, we're talking about all of our alumni, the president of Clemson, the head of the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, the chair of the Greater Baltimore Committee. All of these are our alums. We've got doctors and lawyers and artists and really fascinating people in the social sciences, a lot of the public policy people. Well, we're getting all those people to come back to this campus, and they'll be coming back. The Teachers of the Year for Howard County and Baltimore County are our graduates. So it's a great story that we have produced almost 70,000 people. Saturday, we are having a fun day, a house of grit, we call it. That's who we are, the house of grit, perseverance, hard work. And the key is a great afternoon of a festival. We invite the community because UMBC belongs to the state and to all of us. And then at that evening, we will have fireworks and we'll have the orchestra performing. It is the best of education. We invite Maryland to come. And this region should feel so good about the support you've given us because we are producing people who are leading the country.
Freeman Hrabowski joining us live from the principal's office at UMBC. Dr. Hrabowski, congratulations on the anniversary. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks so much. Come visit soon.
Will do. Coming up tonight, the #1 reason that people need lung transplants. We'll be right back.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
My child who's watching Super Y, and it said, what letter makes the sound R? And my 2-year-old is jumping up and down going, R, R, R. I love that. I wish I knew the genius that came up with Dinosaur Train. I mean, what little boy especially doesn't like dinosaurs and trains and to put them together in one show? My family does without a lot of stuff, but I would be horrified if we had to do without PBS.
Please support MPT.
Sometimes
the tears,
I get a good feeling, yeah.
wanting to die. Nobody tells you
I believe
that without it,
I really do believe that
life can be appallingly boring.
something's got a hold on me here.
You're making a mistake.
Am I? This is really very promising.
Something's got a hold on me right
I don't think this is such a good idea.
You've been talking to my mother.
I am about to commit murder.
She always had a bit of a dark side.
Trying to scare me now. It'll give you a story.
He's in love.
I really wasn't. Stay away from my wife.
Any idea the pressure I am now under?
Joining us for this week's Your Health segment is Dr. Aldo Iacono, the Hamish and Christine Osborne Professor in Advanced Pulmonary Care at the University of Maryland School of Medicine and Medical Director of the Lung Transplant Program at the University of Maryland Medical Center. Doctor, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me, Jeff.
Talk about pulmonary fibrosis. Obviously involves the lungs. What is it?
Sure, it's an important topic in the field of pulmonary medicine. We see a lot of patients needing lung transplantation because of pulmonary fibrosis, which is essentially scarring in the lung. And the scar tissue replaces the lung per se, and the lung becomes non-functional to the point where the patients will either die from their disease or need a lung transplant.
You sent along a couple of images that even a layman can see what's happened. And in an X-ray here on the left side, normal lung, on the right side, what's happened?
Yeah, so under the pulmonary fibrosis side, one can see the haziness. It looks like a cloudy day, the white pattern, especially on the lower part of the film, compared to the film on the left side, which is an X-ray showing clear lungs. The lung actually is replaced by the scar tissue that has an image of white, and that replaces the alveolar surface area, and it becomes impossible for the lung to work properly because of that fibrotic pattern. And the interesting thing about this disease is it's the most common type of illness for which patients need lung transplants for, and it's a really common problem for which there's really no cure other than the transplant per se.
You sent along, there's a second image that's a CT scan that looks pretty similar. It's just basically a slice through the lung, and that's what it would look like.
Yeah, so the left side again is a clear black structures on the right and the left, with the cardiac structures, the heart structure in the middle. On the right-hand side, one sees the haziness and the streaks that are consistent with the fibrosis. And one important point is that no one knows why this fibrosis occurs. We call it idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, meaning that that there's no cause for it.
So if I have a bad cut, I may develop a scar.
Yeah, exactly.
This is scarring that shows up. We don't know why.
Yeah, so if one has an injury to a tissue, whether it be the skin or the lung, the way the body repairs is it scars. And if you get a deep wound, for example, on your skin or your hand, you can see that the scar tissue would form over the skin and would replace the actual skin structure. The same thing happens when there's an injury to the lung itself. And no one knows why this injury occurs, but it's a very common problem. And it's becoming increasingly common to the point where about as many patients die of this disease per year in the United States as patients who die from breast cancer. So the difference between the two is that for this disease we have no cure and we don't know why it happens. We're doing a lot of research at the University of Maryland in the Hamish and Christine Osborne Center. We're doing transplants and ECMOs in the Adam Crowley Shock Trauma Center to help patients, but we have a long ways to go.
Smoking, I mean, in terms of lung issues, you think about smoking, asbestos, not too many coal miners with black lung anymore, but environmental factors.
So smoking is what we call a risk factor for this disease, but it doesn't cause the disease like it would emphysema or chronic bronchitis. It's associated with it, but the reason, again, why we call it idiopathic is because idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis is we don't know what causes it. So there's an association between perhaps metal dust exposure and asbestos and tobacco use, but there's no known cause, and this is the real reason why we've developed our center, the Osborne Center, and why there's so much interest at the University of Maryland, where we have one of the premier advanced lung disease centers to treat this illness. But we certainly need more scientists and more interest in the field to really elucidate why the problem occurs. If we don't know why the problem occurs, then we really can't fix it.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about pulmonary fibrosis, give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also tweet a question. @MPT News is our Twitter address. When somebody walks in the door with this condition, what are the typical symptoms? What's the typical age?
So it's a disease of the more middle-aged and elderly population. So patients are usually about 65. It occurs more commonly in males, and as I mentioned, there are about 40,000 people in the United States per year that die of this illness. So they present with gradual shortness of breath. They may believe that they're out of shape as they're getting older, and it turns out that you do a CAT scan or a workup or a lung function test, and you find that they have this disorder, and you unfortunately have to tell the patient that they're usually going to live only a couple of years.
What would forestall that? I mean, we'll get to the transplant.
Yes.
Medically, is there anything you can do?
So it's important to catch the disease early. So just as an example, let's say you have 50,000 patients, probably 20,000. The prevalence of the illness would be about 20 patients out of that 50,000. So if you are able to diagnose the condition early by the standard tests that can be done in a pulmonary clinic, you can probably start new treatments that are available that may forestall progression of the illness. So it really is important for patients who are short of breath and not feeling well to go see their physicians, to get these tests done. A CAT scan would be the test of choice, and you can really catch this early and start a new drug called pirfenidone and another called Ofev that theoretically would halt the progressive decline in function. We don't know whether that will improve survival and prevent patients from needing a transplant.
Let's grab a phone call. Baltimore County, this is Marie. Marie, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Yes, hello, Jeff. I would wonder if the doctor could discuss sarcoidosis. My daughter had that, and it seems to have cleared up, but can it return? Thank you.
Yeah. Marie, best of luck. Thank you.
Sure, yes. So sarcoidosis is a much more benign disease. 80% or 90% of those patients with sarcoidosis, like your daughter, experience remissions of their shortness of breath or their lung symptoms, and it can actually clear. Unlike the scarring that's associated, so it's very different from the scarring associated with IPF, where a novel medication is needed or a lung transplant is needed to increase survival. And even after a lung transplant, the survival is only about 5 years. So most patients with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis live about 2 years, and we can double that life expectancy with a lung transplant. With sarcoidosis, commonly it goes into remission on its own. So fortunately, your daughter is in good shape.
For fibrosis, why doesn't the lung transplant work better? Why doesn't somebody live full life?
There's a lot of research and improvements needed in the what we call the etiology and the pathogenesis of idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, so we can make that better. And the same essentially holds true for lung transplant. There's a finite period of what we call graft survival or patient survival, and that's essentially related to the fact that we don't have optimal therapy to control rejection in the lung, and they get a similar fibrotic pattern and something called bronchiolitis obliterans after the transplant, which usually leads to their demise after about 5 years. So it's a limited solution, but a good solution for someone who's only going to live about 2 years or 3 years.
Absolutely. But given the extent of the problem, tens of thousands of people losing their lives to this, you say funding and awareness are pretty limited.
Awareness so that we can catch the disease early and start treatments and evaluate for lung transplant. The other point I wanted to make was there are only about 3,000 lung transplants in the United States done per year, and there are about 30 to 40,000 patients who die from idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis a year. So patients with lung disease and with symptoms really need to get to the doctor early.
Let's grab another call from Fairfax, Virginia. This is Alan. Alan, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm taking Esbriet now. I have pulmonary fibrosis, and it was diagnosed about a year ago by my cardiologist and confirmed by my pulmonologist. And I'm taking Esbriet, I think it is. It's supposed to help delay the ongoing symptoms. I have only the lower part of my right lung is affected.
Mr. Allen, we'll get you a comment on the air. So,
yeah,
thank you for calling and best of luck with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there are, the studies show that you have a chance of progressing more slowly over time than if you didn't take the new medication you're taking. And there's some literature that suggests that you may also improve your outcome and survival if you take this new medication. Those studies are being done and are being looked at in more detail. So, I wish you the best with this. In general, in my practice, anyone diagnosed with IPF does get an evaluation for lung transplant as well, because the disease is so erratic and unpredictable.
Doctor, just a couple of seconds. Best way for somebody to reach out to University of Maryland?
They can certainly call my office. It's 410-328-2864. We have an advanced lung disease clinic and
we'll have
transplant.
To leave it there.
Yep.
Dr. Iacono, thank you for the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us for Direct Connection, and have a good night.
Your health segments are a co-production of Maryland Public Television and the University of Maryland Medical System.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.